What is faith, and is it compatible with doubt? Are there any things that have shaken your faith or made you doubt?
Faith and doubt are a bit like love and grief. I once was about to take a funeral of a man who I knew quite well, and his daughter, who worked in the college where I was working, I knew her quite well as well, and she said, I don't want to come to the funeral because I'm only going to cry. And I said, of course you're going to cry, it's your dad. Not to grieve is to deny love. Now, in a way, faith and doubt are a bit like that precisely because faith is faith and not mathematical proof, faith must be open to its shadow side, which is to say, I'm not afraid of questioning. I may be afraid of how I will feel if I question everything, but that's okay. And the parade example of this is Jesus himself in the Garden of Gethsemane, who says, Father, please, if there is another way, I would rather not have to drink this cup. And then when on the cross, people say to Jesus, if you're the Son of God, come down from the cross, because they all knew that a crucified Messiah is a failed Messiah. Do we think that Jesus, hanging on the cross, was thinking, oh, rubbish, haven't you got any faith? Can't you see all this? No, because Jesus eventually cries out, my God, why did you abandon me? Did he lose faith? No. He turned his anguish, which I think was mental anguish as much as physical anguish, into, this is back where we started, into a prayer from the Psalms. That is turning doubt into faith by saying, God, I have no idea what you're doing right now. I've lost it. But I'm still going to call you God, and I'm still going to express that doubt to you. It seems to me that is very like love and grief. Of course, we think of love as this warm, wonderful thing, but it has its shadow side, and we should acknowledge that, and healthy human grief is part of healthy human love. They go together in the same way. So, I mean, the question of... I'm one of these odd people. I grew up in the church. I've believed since I was little. The more I've gone on about this stuff, I've looked at questions. I've been shaken by questions, but I've thought, okay, let's go and look at them. Let's look at the history. Let's argue this out. And I haven't had many moments when it's all gone dark like that. There have been many, many other things, huge trials, huge difficulties, problems in the family, financial difficulties, all sorts of things such as people of our generation have and our culture have. And they have made me cross with God. They've made me puzzled as to what God is up to. They haven't made me doubt God. They've often made me wonder whether I've lost the plot, and which often I probably have, so that I would urge anyone who is suffering or engaging, maybe enjoying serious doubt, to think maybe this is the way of the sort of questioning which I then ought to turn into a prayer. God, if there is a God, what's all this stuff about? Seems to me that's a perfectly appropriate prayer. It doesn't deny who we currently are, but it struggles to bring who we currently are into the presence of God. That is doubt becoming part of faith. And somehow owning those two, it seems to me, is, for many, many people, part of the journey which will lead to faith's confirmation. But, I mean, this is a university. I often tell students in the university, when you really work something out, if you really get an answer to something that you're working on, the reward for getting an answer is you get 3 more questions, and they're harder questions. And it's the same in faith. The reward for actually finding, I really do believe in Jesus. I really do believe God raised him from the dead. Wow, then you're going to get a lot of questions. But you have a lot of fun working at them too.